Afternoon, guys. It is 2:30, and it's the 2nd of July 2025. Now, today's video is going to be about my current situation with my job and why I'm frustrated and what I'm doing about it. But, yeah, just for context, I work in a pub, and it's quite a big pub. Pub/restaurant, should I say. It's a pretty big pub. It's got an outside garden, which doubles the venue size, so in summer that takes a while to close. Anyway, so why am I frustrated? Well, it's come to my attention that my GM, so my boss, basically thinks that me and this one other guy were going too slow. We don't have enough pace on our closes. Alright. Okay, fair enough. And from what I've heard, I think she wants us to up the pace a bit. Okay, and look, I've been a team leader before, and I've led a shift, and I know how stressful it can be. In her defense, trying to, keep up with everything and keep up with the demands of the higher ups. For example, the directors, they just, bollock her all the time. So, I understand why she needs to be strict with it. Alright, I get it. But then in turn, that means she enforces stricter guidelines on us, and almost to the point where I think it's just a little bit militant, to be honest, for hospitality. I mean, a pub's supposed to be enjoyable to work at, and I know the job needs to get done, but it's not serving the queen. You are supposed to be able to have a good time as you're doing the job. Now, my problem. Oh yeah, I just want to say as well, I understand a lot of people struggle for hours at the moment and struggle to get jobs, full stop. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to appear ungrateful. I really do appreciate the hours and the fact that I've even got a job, let alone with people I actually like and enjoy working with. It's not the people that's the problem. So me and a guy called Stan, we basically do closes together. And my issue is I don't mind closes. No one really wants to do them, because the problem with a close is that you usually start at 6, and if the bar closes at about 10 for last orders, you've got until about 11:30 until you start to take a bit too long, right? But bearing in mind, with summer, you got the whole garden to close, and people usually don't get out of the garden when you ask them the first or second time. They'll be like, yeah, and they'll just kind of fuck you off. Yeah, and it's just generally quite busy. And there's just more stuff that needs to be done. More people staying late. You need to boot the customers out at this time, but then they always stay an extra X amount of time, and that means you can't wipe the tables, which all adds up, by the way, if you're trying to get out for this specific time. And this specific time, it's doable if you've got two people working fast and trying to get started on the close 3 hours early, or 2 hours, or 2.5 hours early. It is doable. I've done it before, and I don't mind doing that. I don't mind working efficiently, but the part I have a problem with is I am on minimum 4 closes every single week, and this week I was on 5 in a row. Okay, so the issue with the close that I have is that it's expected to be sparkling perfect by this specific time, which you're having to rush towards, by the way. And you start at 6, which is done purposely. You don't get a break, so it's supposed to be 5.5 hours, right, until 11:30. You never get a break. You're just flat out working for 5.5 hours, and you've done the hardest part of the day. I've been on opens, I've been on mids, many of them, and trust me, like, you should see the difference between an open or a mid and a close. I mean, you're basically doing niche, and you can take your time with it, believe me. Like, I've been on both sides of the field here, and I just think it's unfair that I'm having to do 4 closes minimum back to back each week and expected to be on it when no one else is having to do that apart from Stan, who's also in the doghouse. And I'm starting to get fed up. I'm like constantly getting told, "Oh, Ben, you're not working fast enough," and I think I'm not working at 100%. Okay, but that's like asking someone to sprint for 30 minutes. It's just not really doable. I'd say I'm working at about 80, 85 efficiency, and when it gets busy, about 90, 95. Like, I do crank it up when I need to, and I'm always like trying to get ahead and doing stuff. It's not because I'm just bratting around. And yeah, anyway, it's just I've got a supervisor who I'm quite close with, and she like just kindly told me this. It's not her fault. I'm not angry at her at all. But she just said, I thought I'd let you know just before the GM did, because I think I could tell you in a bit of a nicer, more constructive way, which I would agree with. But yeah, just genuinely to like up the pace and stuff. And I just think, like, man, stick anyone else on 4 closes a week. Like, I know no one else does that, by the way. I know I do the most closes. Like, give me one person and give them the shifts I've got with the co-worker I've got, and it's not just 4 closes. Then there's another 4 and another 4 and another 4, and guess what? Then there's another 4. Give them what I'm doing, then give them the sentry gun sat at the end of the bar, watching your every move, and see how well they perform, I think it's very unfair to say out of the 4 or 5 shifts I get each week, 4 of them are closes. No one else gets that. And I've just, with the chirping about how it's too slow, like I'm just finished with it. But the one good thing that has come from this is that I'm frustrated and angry. And one thing one of my good friends, Jake, said, you might recognise him from the fish and chip video. He said to me, when you're angry, it's actually a good thing because it motivates change. And man, those words are true. So what I've done is I'm planning to be out by the end of the summer, but the issue is I need a car, and I also need to pass this health and safety card test thing to be able to look into doing site work, which is what I want to do. Because I know I'm a hard worker, and I know I could do it. Just get my head down and do it. But, yeah, so basically yesterday night I was just like, let's rebook this exam. I got my driving test in about 3 weeks. Fingers crossed, I can be out by the end, but I just don't know how much more of this I can do. I would just love to see the GM on 4 closes in a row and see if she's like TPing around the bar and like, you know, on 1.5x speed every single time to get done for this time. I just don't think it's like fair at all, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not looking to move up in this chain. I'm not even bothered about team leader because I think they don't treat their staff very well. And I know that's not necessarily the GM's fault. I know she's like ruled by, you know, directors and she has to adhere to those sorts of demands and stuff. But like, you get a 50p pay rise if you become a team leader. It goes from minimum wage to 50p extra, right? And I just think that all that added stress and like you have to you get to tell people what to do, but it's on you if the shift goes badly, or if something like messes up. It's on you. It's your fault, even if it wasn't your fault, you know. And I just think for 50p extra, that's not worth it. What else? My last thing with the closes is that let's say we were to do them like 100% efficiently out for 11:30 each night. That's only 5.5 hours, and yet we did the biggest heavy lifting of that shift. You know, I know for a fact there was people who like got in at 10, left at 5, nice 7 hours, or maybe left at 6, nice 8 hours. There's also shifts that are like 10 to 9, again, nice mid, 11 hours. It's all about hours because it's hours times minimum wage, which gives you money, right? But then you just got the close, which is 5.5 hours. You're going flat out rapid pace. You're cutting your own hours down, maybe to 5 hours from 5.5. And I just don't think it's fair at all to be on 4 of them shits a week. Like, give me something like what other people get, you know? I don't know. Anyway, this isn't going to be forever. I'm making movements towards getting out, but I'm just about finished with it. It's just so monotonous and repetitive. And for minimum wage as well, I know you get all plus tips. Oh, wow. For minimum wage, I just think it's expecting a lot. The bar's very militant, and it's not been enjoyable recently. Just way too much expected. The guidelines are too tight on you. I mean, it's not very normal for a pub. I get you can't like dick around all the time. Like, I understand that. That's not what we do either. But, you know, you should be able to have a bit of banter and still be able to get done for a decent time. But no, like, apparently if you, like, have any sort of... If you let up on the gas for 1 second, you won't be finishing at that time. Or at least that's what I've experienced. But, yeah. Rant over. I bet I'll look back and laugh on this in the future. But for now, man, I'll tell you this. It's shit. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.